meeting is called to order at 7 p.m. by me, Board President Kerry Engel. Member present are Eric Stroud, Josh Bowman, Chrissy Gunter, and Chris Lasley. Adoption of the agenda. It is recommended that the agenda for the March 9, 2023 regular meeting be approved as presented with additions, corrections, or deletions as recommended by the board.
Mr. President, I do have some late items. Those that are in attendance, these should all be on the packet that you picked up. But if you turn to your late items, let me find number one here. Late item number one, it is recommended that the board approve a contract with Goldman Lawn Care and authorize Superintendent Freed to sign the contract on behalf of the school corporation. Late item number two, it is recommended that the board approve the following appointments: Rhonda Rowe, spring play drama stipend; Jada Weathers, JV softball coach for the 2023 season; Billy Myrick, varsity softball assistant for the 2023 season; Miranda Kellen, middle school volunteer track assistant for the 2023 season; Joe Kellen, middle school volunteer track assistant for the 2023 season; and Morgan Roller, middle school volunteer track assistant for the 2023 season.
Do I have a motion to approve the agenda, for the adoption of the agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Motion's made by Ms. Gunter. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Stroud. Do we have any questions or discussion items regarding this agenda item? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Approval of minutes. It is recommended that the minutes from the February 9, 2023 executive session and regular meeting be approved as presented. Do I have a motion to approve for approval of the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Motion's made by Mr. Stroud. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Lasley. Do we have any questions or discussion on this topic? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Business office recommendations, approval of claims. It is recommended that claim numbers 140 through 256 be approved as presented.
Do I have a motion for approval of claims?
I'll make a motion.
Motion's made by Mr. Bowen. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Gunter. Do we have any questions or discussion on any of this, any of the claim numbers?
I do. On the claim number 199 for Systemax, this is a high school sound system coming from our GO Bonds corporate upgrade, which I was under the impression that was for school security upgrades. And my question would be, how's it fall under school security, and how many bids do we have on upgrading the high school sound system?
Sure. This was on the sound system at the football field. Those of you that were in attendance for any track events or football events or band events or any community events will notice that our sound system at the football field was not great, especially if you were on the other side of the field. So that was a new system that was put in here recently. As far as the GO bond money question, yes, the GO bond is for safety, security, and improvements of facilities. So that's why the money was used there for that. And this is, as far as the quotes go, this is a group that had previously given us that quote and was able to wait until the first of the year to try to get that fixed for us. So I know Mr. Pearson had reached out and wanted to make sure that we had the best vendor, best quality for what we used it for. So we felt like the price was very reasonable for that.
And to piggyback on him also, in terms of the security, the football, that area out there is where we do our reunification. If there's poisonous gas in the building or anything like that, we felt it's imperative for all the students and staff to be able to hear us and have one station to be able to guide and direct people. So we felt like that clearly fell under security as well, even though it can be used for anything.
Okay, well, I just feel that when we're spending that much money, we need to get more than one bid on a project.
Thank you. Yeah, we felt like the $9,000 that was spent on that was a more than reasonable price, so we would have certainly went in another direction.
It's hard to tell without pricing others.
Do you have any other questions?
No, that's the one that I still have a discussion on.
Okay, I had two questions. Just so people understand, the voucher number 224.
Yes, voucher 224, that would be our campus exterior lighting. That was through GexPro. That also was paid for through Go Bond money, safety, security, and improvement facility upgrades. That would be our exterior lighting on all of our campuses.
And the only other question I have is about 229.
On that same thing with 224, did we get more than one bid for the campus lighting improvements?
Yes, we did. We actually, quite a few, because it's extremely costly, but we are extremely proud of the progress that we've made there. I mean, it's so much brighter, and I can't tell you how many compliments we've had, because I'll tell you, it was pretty rugged before. It was, when we did our threat assessment, basically of all the facilities, that really stuck, was right at the top, you know, that it's not bright enough. And there are a few other things, but again, that quality of communication, that was another thing that, you know, we've been working on our bus radios, but that system on the football field falls right in line with that. That was pretty important, and we felt like that was also part of the improvements and upgrades that we needed to make. This lighting, yes, we had multiple sources there, and we reached out, and quite frankly, it's tough to get people to get material to us. You know, they won't even give you a quote, so we have to work hard to do that.
Ms. Gunner, on your question there, that was our discus cage. Again, if you have seen our discus cage, it's in very, very rough shape, and this was fencing that was given to us at a very good and reasonable cost through our athletic department, and that will fix the discus cage. It will be a new discus cage, actually.
Okay, I didn't know.
We'll get rid of that old eyesore out there.
One I threw in 35
Did you
years
throw
ago.
in that one?
Yeah, 35 years ago.
We'll give you some pieces of that if
Pieces of
you'd
it
like to
for-
take that.
Yeah, no thanks. I didn't know the Killam imprints had that material available, so that's good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more questions or concerns? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
All but opposed on claim number 199, System Max Sound System. I move that we table that.
That has already been installed. I don't think we can table that.
Vote against.
Yeah, then I'll vote against.
approval of payrolls. It is recommended that regular payrolls for March 17th, 2023, March 31, 2023, and April 14th, 2023 be approved for payment.
Do I have a motion for approval of payrolls?
I'll make the motion.
Motion's made by Ms. Gunter. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Bowen. Do we have any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
It is recommended that the bank reconciliation from February 28, 2023 be approved as presented.
Do I have a motion for this reconciliation?
I'll make the motion.
Motion's made by Mr. Stroud. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Lasley. Do we have any questions or comments regarding this agenda item?
This may fall under that, so I have a question, because I know that we have a credit card for the school corporation that we buy things and then pay them off, obviously, every month, with no continual debt, which is great. Do we have a credit card that has rewards on it for the school at all? Like frequent flyer miles?
Where are we going to go with this, Gunter? I don't think so.
Okay.
I
I know they have like business venture cards.
Yeah, I will certainly check on that to see if there's anything that we would happen to get for cash. You're talking about like a cashback
Like
bonus.
even cash back, yeah.
Yeah, I'll check on that.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not certain, to be honest.
Yeah, my wife gets lots of rewards from the Amazon card.
So does mine.
Are we allowed to take that kind of cashback rewards?
That's my first thought is I don't think we could take
Yeah,
that.
legal counsel, we have to ask.
So I'm gonna say no, but I will double check into that. And I'm like Mr. Bowen, we spend a little money in Amazon also.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Presentations. Looks like we have a presentation tonight by North Harrison Elementary.
The floor is yours, Mr. Rizzo.
Excuse me.
All right. Well, I didn't put materials up for the board members, so if you guys want to join any of the tables, there's stuff out there for you. I'm going to speak a little bit this evening about our STEM initiative and our STEM certification at North Harrison Elementary School, and also shine some light on our computer science and STEM class. So in front of you, you have a whole bunch of materials. What we are going to try and do is create a balloon-powered race car. All right, we're going to design and build the balloon-powered car that will go the furthest distance. So at your tables, you have these materials. I am going to give you a little bit of time. You should have 3 bendy straws, a large popsicle stick, tape, skewers. If you don't have tape, you'll have to share. Balloons, rubber bands, bottle caps, and scissors. So, if any of that material is missing, please go ahead and grab it. It's more fun to be in a group for this. Each of our classes, when we start a project like this, has a design process. It's one of the things that we make sure that we work on. That way our students know, hey, there's a problem. Then we're going to imagine what we're going to build, and we make a plan. From there, we create our prototype. Then we test it, and then we look to improve. This is one of the things that, through our STEM certification, and one of the things that we're trying to teach our elementary students as we go. So, we have 5 minutes that I'm going to allow you to try and build this car. Go ahead. Not to add too much stress, but we only have 90 seconds left. I'll give you guys just a little bit more time. I know there's some groups out there still building. Dr. Hatton has a super red face right now. He's into this. 13 seconds, all right. All right, as you guys finish up, I've added an extra little piece on there, something that we've worked on as a corporation, and it's called the 5 E's. One of the 5 things that we are trying to do with our students is engage them, help them to explore. We want them to explain the process and what's going on, and then be able to elaborate and learn more about that. And then at the end, we're hoping to use projects like this to evaluate our students and see what they do know. So that's kind of where we're going. So just a few questions for everyone here. What grade level do you feel like this project's for? Just give me a couple shout-out answers. Not just you senior candidates, way over there. All right. Third and above. Okay, so I'm getting third and above, 5th grade. To be very honest, I could look at this and talk about wind energy with our kindergarten kids. I can go all the way to a research project on race cars and race car drivers. I can take this into a diesel tech program. So really, any grade level, this can go into it if the teacher can attach it to those standards. What content does this go with? Engineering. Okay, engineering, science, math, English. Tell me how this goes into English. Following directions. If I'm looking at this, again, it goes into all contents. I know how wide my vehicle is. I know how far it went. Now I know the area that it's covered. I can go into maybe a 4th grade standard when I start looking at the Indy 500 coming up at May. And we can start talking about the history of Indiana. We can start talking about drivers. We can pull up any articles we want and teach a reading lesson on this. it's so versatile, it's not funny. Now the next thing, especially I think in all the schools I know in January, I believe Mr. Kellums was in and spoke about the CTE programs and needing community partners. As we go through this process to become STEM certified, we at the elementary school are going to need community partners as well, and this is kind of where they fall in. They can come in and help us with the design process. So we've already designed our cars. How can a business in the community come in and help us in the design process and show us what things could be done better to make our cars go straight? Because this is about 25, 30 minutes worth of work and about my fourth one that I made last weekend. And I broke it in half and got some splinters. And then it took me about 8 different balloons to figure out I needed to poke a straw into the end of it to make it go straight. Some of those things could be helped by a community partner saying, hey, you need to put direction to your energy. Presentations on career paths. Every year we have our career day and ask for those people to come in and help present and show our young students, even our 5-year-olds, our 4-year-olds, what opportunities are out there for them. And then as we build these partnerships in the community, that's going to carry on through middle school and high school and be something that hopefully we're turning out great students and people for our community into the workforce. And again, building those relationships, as I said, year after year, and that longevity of having relationships in our buildings. These are a few of our different things that we have done. Up in the top right corner, Sean Fahey from 5 Star came in and did some electrical circuits called Makey Makey. I'm sure some of you have seen those projects going through on our Instagram and Facebook. Our 5th graders did some stuff with dissolving candy canes around Christmas time. And then we have some stacking and some building with toothpicks and candy corn and other things like that that our students have read a story on. And I believe the candy corn one, they are trying to make a cage for turkeys and catch turkeys in that one. All sorts of things that we are trying to do to get our students' hands on. And if you want more pictures of that stuff, if my mouse will work here. Go ahead and follow our Instagram and Facebook. We are posting to those all the time. There's lots of information. I worked with Beth Burson this morning, and the North Harrison Facebook page is kind of sat idle for a while, but she's going to get that up and running, so hopefully we see more out of North Harrison Elementary on that. One of the things, again, if we get working here, is the overview of where we plan to be for our STEM certification. We are hoping that we can apply for certification in the fall of 2023. Recent progress that we've made has adding our teachers to our guiding coalition, which is the group of teachers corporation-wide that are going through a rubric of hoops and different requirements for us to get this. The other thing that we've done this year at North Harrison Elementary is we've created a computer science / STEM specialist class, which has been amazing for our students, and I'll get to more of that next. Our next big hurdle is involving community partners and stakeholders in this. That didn't update, so that black stuff's going to be tough to read, so I'll read through it for you. Teacher involvement is one of the big parts of this. Collaboration and planning. Want to thank the board and everybody who is involved in making sure that we have those Fridays with those early dismissals. That 1 hour means the world to our teachers in being able to plan and work together so that we can take and build a race car and be able to put all of those standards together. Although we want our area timeline, or when we're teaching area, to match up with when we need to do a certain reading skill, it doesn't always work that way. So having that hour for our teachers to get together and pace out the year and plan out these units really helps them to get the most bang for their buck. And that's the extended planning time to link content. One of the things that we're going to be working on, especially at North Harrison Elementary, is peer observations. Because again, this is one of those things where we feel that we can learn the best from our own people. We have some pretty amazing teachers over at NHCS. So getting around and seeing each other, even if that means maybe slipping up into the middle school and high school and seeing how we connect there, is important. So having that vertical collaboration is really important. Student excitement. When we first started doing these types of projects, we were typically doing them on Fridays. And kids used to come in excited because it was Friday, we'd play some music, we'd get hyped up. Now they come in knowing that, hey, we're going to do some STEM activities and do some science experiments and get hands-on. The kids love these days. They are growing and learning so much. They're excited to be in school. Not that they weren't already 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. But they're more excited when they know they're going to make a toy or build something that day. This is really a mindset. It's a change in your traditional teaching. It's combining, it's double dipping. For so long we've had reading as its own content, math as its own content, science as its own content, but what we're trying to do is say, hey, we can kind of blend some of these together and use a science text to get some reading skills in. We can use a math text and associate that with reading or language arts. So there's a lot of things that we're doing there. The computer science and STEM class, the reason and how that happened, North Harrison Elementary has about 640 students in it. We were looking for a way to best utilize our counselor, and I want to thank everybody again. We were able to grab a second counselor this year, and that's been an amazing accomplishment. Those two ladies did a great job. But in a way to alleviate some of the stress and pressure on her, we took one of our assistants who had mostly spent their time tutoring and created this role knowing for STEM certification, we needed 100% of our students to be involved in these types of activities. I also looked around and noticed we've had robots sitting in a closet for 4 or 5 years, and teachers didn't necessarily have the time to get them out and let students explore and play with them, which it seems sad, but with what we have to get covered as far as standards, there's not a lot of time to say, hey, go play and get familiar with this, when we really need to be buckling down and getting ready for state testing. So the creation of this position, or this class, not only helped our guidance programs, but it also helped all of our teachers to be able to have time to get those robots out and let the students play with those and have some very pointed, specific time with that. So it's new to our school this year. The second accomplishment, the introduction of robots, it also gives fidelity to some of those computer skills that we haven't been able to spend as much time on in the past. We're asking our 3rd graders and 4th graders to know how to use a keyboard as a typewriter. That's not something our teachers necessarily have time in kindergarten, 1st, 2nd grade to, again, we're going to work on keyboarding skills so that you can type your responses for your iLearn test. This is a position that we can take those and do that early on and say, hey, we're going to work on some keyboarding skills so that our students have more time and are more proficient at those skills that, as I said, typically get left to the back burner. So great things going on there. The last couple days I got fancy with this one. But I sent a Google form out to our 2nd through 5th graders just to get a couple of ideas as to where their thoughts and feelings are towards this class, this special class. What's your favorite thing in computer science? And you're going to see a lot of names up there. You're also going to see a lot of the same type things. I think I see robots. I see robots spelled wrong. I see all capital robots, bots. Had I corrected all those, robots would have been just as big as games and Legos. But what this is a program that takes the words that are most common and enlarges them. So that's what our students' favorite thing is. It's fun. They get to play these games, and that's what these students think. They think they're playing games when really they're learning coding skills. They are learning computer science. They are learning all of these things. The next question that I asked them was, how do you feel, or what's the best part of computer science? And I think that speaks for itself. Again, games. They love games. But it's happy, it's fun. It's a time for them they feel, again, like they're getting screen time, and they're getting all this time to just play and have fun when really they're learning. So if you ever get a chance to walk through the elementary school and you're like, oh, all they do is play, we're learning while we play. It's definitely a different world down there for those of you who are secondary. And the last thing is, what types of things would you like to do, or what other things would you like to see come through this class? Because we're always trying to evolve and make this class better and make it so that our students are getting the most out of it. You'll see a game on there called GimKit. It's in the one of the middle ones to the right side. GimKit is a game where the students answer different facts, different questions, whether that's math or language arts, and then they get money and they build zombies and all sorts of crazy things. And you'd think, okay, that's not a big deal, but these kids are eating it up. I see Ms. Crozier back there nodding her head. Legos, time, science, games. They love to get into puzzles. One of the things that I saw as I was pouring through these was there's a handful of kids that are actually asking for less screen time. They're asking for things that are not based on the computer. They love getting the robots out and learning through those. They love putting together puzzles or using their minds in different ways than just on their Chromebooks. Attention areas coming out with implementation. Attaching activities to multiple standards takes time and planning, so it's going to take time. I've told all my teachers, yes, we're going to try and apply for certification in the fall, but I don't expect every single lesson right now to be a STEM lesson. It's going to take time and planning. It's going to be a couple years before we get to that point. Ensuring STEAM, and you're going to see it as STEAM and STEM. That stands for science, technology, engineering, art, and math. You can't really look at the project we did and not assume that there isn't some art that could be put in there. That's the hands-on piece. And probably the hardest thing, and I'll be honest, for all of our teachers, test scores. Because how do you take what we've just done and ensure that our students are ready to take and pass I-learning? It is a process. It is a mindset. And it's something that's hard to do because we are under that test all the time. So understanding that there is a way to make this happen and finding that way and making it work for classrooms is important, and we'll get there. Our special classes, something we're going to do is continue training. Olivia Smith teaches that class. She came in with a whopping no experience with computer science. She's been with us for 2 years. She's an amazing person. And she is working with Beth Burson weekly to put together these opportunities, these skills, these games. And she is sitting in our office some days, and myself and our 3 secretaries and her are figuring out how to use robots. It is a learning process and a learning curve. As I said, she does amazing, but the more we can continue to train her, the more confident she's going to grow in this. And again, community support in this. We have enough of certain robots to, fend for the most part of a class. But as we continue to grow in this area, there's going to be more that we're going to ask for. And I'll be honest, it's not a cheap endeavor. So our schedule as far as STEM certification. Back in 2020, the administrative team partnered with 5-Star and investigated if this was going to be worth it. We moved on and kind of skipped 2020 because we all kind of want to forget that year. So 21, 22, administrative team begins looking at requirements, and we established our why, which was on one of the first slides. It'll be on one of our last slides as well. And our second semester activities began with implementation with teachers. This year, again, we've implemented PD Fridays, and we have some coaching coming around, computer science classes in the elementary school, and we're still working on that peer observation part. From now to the fall, and this is going to be the big part, we are going to be gathering feedback from stakeholders. We're going to build a 5-year sustainability plan and start working with community partners and continue training and support for our staff. And in the fall, again, hopefully we're ready for that STEM certification application, and we are running full into our sustainability plan. So our next steps, kind of as I said, By the way, teachers in the room, I've learned how to animate slides, so our next staff meeting is going to be amazing. Objective number 1, everybody, and this is going to happen, I think, corporation-wide. Surveys will be coming home, so we can start establishing some things, but those will be coming out to community members, businesses, students, and staff. Objective number 2, we will be collecting that data and then looking to build a group of stakeholders to ensure that we have the support we need to keep this initiative moving forward. And then the third one is finalize that sustainability plan, showing what steps and resources the school will take and have to further the advance the STEM initiative. So here is the why, and this is the important part of everything we're doing. We believe this is important to implement hands-on, engaging learning that produces academically and personally successful students who are real-world ready, equipped for today's challenges. And that is not just something that the high school is going to work on. That's something that we have to start letting our students know from the time they walk in. Some of our kiddos at 3 years old at NHE. So we're talking 3-year-olds all the way till 18-year-olds once they're leaving North Harrison. So I have questions up there. I don't know if anybody has any or if the board wants to wait until they get back up there, but that's me for the night. So thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Renshaw. We really appreciate you sharing with us tonight. A lot of amazing things going on in all of our schools and several examples there at North Harrison Elementary, so we appreciate you sharing. Personnel, resignation, retirements. Did I miss something? Sorry. Participation at school board meeting, public comments on agenda items.
I don't really know if it's on the agenda, but that's okay. Hi, I'm Jennifer Gordon, the band director at North Harrison Middle and High Schools. I split my time between the two buildings. And I just wanted to give everybody a very brief update about the band program. First of all, over the weekend we had a very large event at the high and middle schools. We hosted 44 Winter Guard, Winter Percussion, and Winter Wind groups. That brought in 925 tickets sold. With little kids that were free, we probably had around 960 spectators. And with the 44 groups, we had probably around 800-900 performers and helpers. So it was a very, very busy, very full day for us. We probably made around $10,000 in profit that day. So it was a very, very big, very long, very successful day. We had a lot of positive feedback about the use of the facilities we used over here for warm-ups and staging groups, and we used the high school gym for the performance venue. And we had a lot of comments about the variety of concessions and hospitality, which is very important to directors and judges. And I would like to publicly thank several board members that were able to come and help us. Mr. Lasley helped Ashley Black with the props in the prop hallway, managing all of the things that were coming in before performances. Mr. Bowman, Mrs. Gunter, and Mr. Stroud were able to help us in concessions. Mr. Freed made an appearance to watch at least our varsity guards. That
Yeah, and they tried to talk me the concessions, and I poked my head in there and I said, no way. But I did get to see our kids perform.
Yes, so that was very appreciated. Mr. Hatton, I understand you were watching your daughter play, so that was, I think that's very important, so I understand completely. And Mr. Kellens apparently had to run a chainsaw all day, so he had fun there. But it was a very successful day for the band and for the entire corporation. And I would also like to thank Mr. Bowen for pulling the trailer for us on Monday when I took the Winter Guard and Winter Percussion to perform at NHE in Morgan as a recruiting tool for 5th graders to join band, which leads me to tonight's event where I had Conrad Music come to the middle school band room fifth graders got to try the instruments, and I had 40 students show up. And there's also a lot of kids that will go to Conrad's over the summer as well. So I'm anticipating probably 60 to 70 beginners next year. So it's very exciting. So thank you for the support and everything, and the band program, it continues to grow. So thank you.
Thank you.
And Ms. Gordon, you guys did a great job. It was a well-oiled machine, and again, just job well done. It was great to see all the performances and all the people here. It took a lot of people to help and make that successful, but it was very, very well ran, very well organized. Great job. Okay, now we're ready for personnel. Resignation, retirements. Tracy Dooley, resignation, full-time custodian, effective February 27, 2023.
Do I have a motion for this agenda item?
I'll make the motion.
Motion's made by Ms. Gunter. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Bowman. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Appointment, Scott Saunders, maintenance, effective February 13, 2023. Tony Wayne Scott, volunteer softball assistant for the 2023 season.
Do I have a motion for these appointments?
I'll make the motion.
Motion's made by Mr. Lasley. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Stroud. Do we have any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Other items? Any other items? Discussion items? Informational items. Our legislative update by Ms. Gunter.
All right, this is the really boring part, I'm sorry. All right, so I was chosen to be the legislative representative and attended the Indiana State Board Association State Day on February 21st. It was very informative. It included a caucus leaders panel and an education committee chairs and leaders panel. Just to let you all know, there were 1,162 bills introduced to the Indiana legislature this year. 223 of those bills address local or school governance matters, taxation, children, or K-12 education policy. As of this week, they are halfway through their session, so most of those bills have died. There are now only 68 bills left, 38 in the House and 30 in the Senate. The legislative process is a long and arduous process with a lot of checks and balances from both House and Senate and committees with multiple addendums and voting before a bill can become a law. So that's why a lot of these will die in committee or they don't read and things like that. The most important bill that's going through this year is the House Bill 1001, which is the biennial budget. Education is a big part of that budget. This includes tuition support, pre-kindergarten program expansion, special education funding, and eliminating textbook fees, which is very exciting. Indiana is only one of 7 states that charge textbook fees, and Governor Holcomb wants to eliminate those fees in order to actually provide a free public education. Now, he initially proposed $160 million to reimburse schools for those fees. However, the House Republicans kind of watered that down and with this funding, which means public schools may have to come up with a difference through state funding or local property taxes. Now, it's not over yet. The budget is now in the hands of the Senate, where there can be further changes to the education budget. So I encourage all of you to kind of research this out and reach out to our senator. It's Senator Gary Byrne with any concerns. I did have a webinar this past Tuesday. There were some bills that they just kind of touched, some of these representatives touched on. There were 3 bills that were trying to make school board elections partisan. And if you don't know what that means, it means that you would have to register as a Democrat, Republican, or Independent to run for school board. All 3 of those died. One bill that does affect our students in particular is State Bill 35, which is a financial literacy class. It'll be a graduation requirement. So not only will you have to have government, it's a graduation requirement, but a financial literacy class, basically teaching you how to budget and do loans and things like that. There's another House Bill 1483 that Representative Vernon has put through 5 years in a row, and it's actually making steam, which I think is great. It's bullying, prevention, and reporting. So we'll see how that goes. There's quite a few about deregulation, education matters. Let's see, there was one House Bill 1167, which we are already in compliance with. If it goes through, it requires all public agencies to live stream their meetings, which we are already doing. The only change will be that we'll have to archive those meetings on public platform for 90 days. The General Assembly concludes on April 29th, and I will have another update next month, hopefully with updates on the bills that actually have been passed. In the meantime, if you're interested, please visit the Indiana government website, and they have actually a section where you can look at all the bills that are still going on and what's going on with those. And like I said, contact your representatives. We have House Representative Karen Engelman and then Senator Gary Byrne, who represents our area. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Gunter. Late items. It is recommended that the board approve a contract with Goldman Lawn Care and to authorize Superintendent Freed to sign the contract on behalf of the school corporation.
Do I have a motion for this agenda item?
I'll make the motion.
Motion's made by Mr. Bowen. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Gunter. Do you have any questions or comments?
I actually have a comment.
Yes, Dr.
That's okay. I've really been impressed with this group over the years. I mean, we received tons and tons of compliments on our grass. Prior to that, it was kind of a sore to speak. So they go above and beyond. Anytime that specifically we've needed something, they just come out and take care of it. They do it in a timely manner. So we're really appreciative of the relationship that we have with this company.
Thank you, Dr. Hammond. Anyone else? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Late item 2, it is recommended that the board approve the following appointments: Rhonda Rowe, spring play drama stipend; Jada Weathers, JV softball coach for the 2023 season; Dilly Myrick, varsity softball assistant for the 2023 season; Miranda Kellum, middle school volunteer track assistant for the 2023 season; Joe Kellum, middle school volunteer track assistant for the 2023 season; Morgan Roller, middle school volunteer track assistant for the 2023 season.
Do I have a motion for these late item appointments?
I'll make the motion.
Motion's made by Mr. Stroud. Do I have a second?
I'll second. I'll second.
Second by Ms. Gunter. Do we have any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Board member communications. Mr. Lasley, I think we'll start with you tonight, sir.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that the band had a good turnout and they made a pretty good sum of money. It was a pleasure to help them. It was a long day, but I'm sure actually, I know my legs hurt at the end of the day standing in one spot. As far as the STEM goes, I think that's great for the kids. It's another way for them to keep them engaged, because I know it's some kids that just math and reading, and it's just something else that'll get some of them kids' attention that normally aren't gonna, they're just not into the other stuff. But that's all I got. Thanks for coming out, and everybody have a good spring break, and I'll see you next month.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Rechler, for that engaging presentation. Very excited for these kids to be learning like that and problem solving. Not that it'll help them pick their toys up at school or at home, but or clothes. But congratulations to the band for a very successful competition this Saturday. I was very impressed, I have to say, with the band parents and volunteers. Kudos to you all, because that was a very big production. Just want to let people know that the Cougar Madrigal Choir and the Barbershop Quartet that we listened to this past month, along with another trio, received a gold rating at state on February 19th. So very, very happy for them. All of our Cougar archers will be advancing to state this Saturday, March 11th. Just to put that in perspective, there were 4,353 archers in the state that tried out, and only 2,100 moved on, and that was all of ours. February 23rd, the high school counselors held a graduation requirements and college and career exploration event. I attended. I was very impressed with that. You know, they had some individuals in the specialty fields. They had some guest speakers that I was very happy to see. Hopefully next year we'll have some more attending for that. They had these scan codes that they passed out, which were very, very informative. Morgan Elementary is holding a parent night Monday, March 19th from 6 to 7:30. The discussion topic is ADHD with a guest speaker, Pam Valdez, who's a certified ADHD coach and has her master's in counseling psychology. So thank you, Morgan, for holding that, and I hope that a lot of parents can get some information that they need. And thank you all very much for coming out tonight.
Chris Lasley and I attended a school board training seminar in Columbus, Indiana, February 4th last month, and we'll be attending open door policy webinars this coming week as we work as the newest school board members to learn all the ins and outs of school boards and school board law. And hats off to Ms. Jordan. I've never seen anything so well put together. I mean, job descriptions, what you do, where to go, maps drawn, everything. I was super, super impressed with not only how it was planned out, but how it's executed. And we owe you another round of applause.
I was definitely a pork nacho making machine Saturday. But yeah, again, great job, y'all. Few things I wanted to talk about tonight and discuss a little bit on. It has been brought to my attention, there's concerns about inadequate facilities in the middle school gymnasium as far as locker rooms, working restrooms and stuff like that goes. Do you guys have any idea what's going on there, what the shape of our restrooms, locker rooms are?
Well, I can tell you that as the former middle school principal, if we're talking like PE, our kids do not dress out and use any of those lockers. Those are the old original lockers, Mr. Stroud, with the building. I know when we did the building project, we got quotes on replacing those lockers. And at the time, if memory serves me correct, we didn't feel like the expense was going to justify how much they were actually used. There are working restrooms in those facilities. Are you talking about the main gym here?
Yeah, I'm talking about like locker rooms, girl locker room in particular.
I don't know. I'm not aware that there's any issues,
Okay.
but certainly it's something we'll look at.
Yeah, please check into that.
Girls' locker room.
Yeah, girls' locker room. You know, obviously we want to have everything in tip-top shape in that building for coaches and students and athletes. Second thing I want to talk to you guys about too, Mr. Freed, you more or less. For the next month, could you please give me a student disciplinary report from our high school? A weekly report for the next
Yes,
month?
we'll talk, and that way I can get exactly the information that you want.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I want to see a report on that.
Our Harmony system should be able to pull any demographics.
Okay, will that also have the actions taken?
Yes,
Okay.
you can filter that, but the simple answer is yes.
Okay, all right, cool. That's what I want on that. And then number 3, and Carrie brought this back to my attention again. For the last,
I'll take over here.
well, I'm not done yet. I forgot to mention the playground last month. And guess what? It's going up. So, finally. So here's what I've got going on. And I sent an email out to everybody last week, actually a couple days ago. Mr. Rensler, I apologize. Mr. Freed, I apologize to you, but I kind of put the cart before the horse on my celebration. So here's kind of what I've got in mind. A ribbon cutting, obviously. I want to do that. I spoke with the band, and they're going to come over and hopefully play some music. The fight song is the one that I request. All right, I appreciate that. I've also I've talked with PTO, and I'm certain they've talked with you about doing some little things and stuff. And I've also spoke with Ramsey Fire Department, and those guys are willing to bring a truck or two out for some loud sirens and things like that. So anyway, what I'm hoping and praying for, and I know there's stipulations and I know weather and all that stuff, but if you two guys could collaborate and arrange something, because in this whole mess, the only people that have suffered is our children. And what's it been, 2 years in the making now? That's I want to have a celebration, and they deserve it. And I appreciate everybody's hard work in getting us to where we're at now compared to where we were 2 years ago. So now you can have it.
Thank you, Mr. Rock.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Lasley, Ms. Gunter, always, of course, thank you. Mr. Bowen, Mr. Stroud, wasn't going to steal your thunder, I promise. But that was
Thank you
very,
again.
Mr. Rensler, thank you very much for your presentation tonight. Ms. Gordon, thank you for not calling me out as the only school board member who did not attend. Thank you, I appreciate that, but I'll do it myself. Very proud of our band. What an amazing time, an amazing day, and a lot of hard work. So again, thank you. To all of our board members and administration and volunteers that came out on Saturday, not me, but all those who did, thank you. The archery, Ms. Gunter, I had not heard that. That's amazing news for the archers. Playground, yes. And I said this, well, hold on. I said this after all the badgering, complaining, and what was the word I used? I didn't say perseverance. Perseverance. It has finally come to fruition. It's going up, and I think it is very much worth celebrating to have that out there, and it's going to be awesome. So I think nothing is too much, especially when our community's involved, to be a part of this. So it's good. It's good for our kids. It's good for us. And spring break is next week. 2 weeks. Well, Mr. Lasley said, I'll see you, have a good spring break.
He said next month. He's correct.
Oh, okay. Well, man, I'm lost. So, I'm trying. Also, to the students here tonight, thank you all for coming out, as always. I appreciate it. To all of our people who showed up tonight, thank you. Mr. Stroud will sign all your papers for your signing tonight. Thank you again. And if I don't talk to many of y'all, have a nice spring break. Thank you all.
Mr. Engel,
Yes.
before you stop, will you kind of give everybody a heads up about our work session?
Yes. We are going to do a work session, and we're still processing the date, correct? We're going to do a work session. Now, it is open to the public. It has to be published. Ms. Gunter, correct me if I say anything wrong. We'll publish it or post it to let them know that we're going to have it. This will be where the board will come together and talk about things that in an open format. People are allowed to come,
Yes.
but we're participant. It's just discussion among the board members.
Yes, that's
And we
right.
plan on doing that soon, hopefully this month. And I wish for all who are interested to come and attend and listen. Is that it? Oh, yeah, well, sorry. But we're gonna do more than one. I mean, this is going to be an ongoing thing, a lot of things going on, a lot of good things going on our campuses. And, you know, too much for one night to encompass. So, thank you all. Mr. Briggs, Dr. Hatton?
Just a couple things, you know, us being live, anyone that would be interested in a custodial position, I know we're running short there, we've lost a few custodians, so we're always interested. Substitute bus drivers, anyone that would, you could reach out to central office, we'll line you out and get you going on getting your CDL and potentially driving for the school corporation. Mr. R, thanks for coming today, explaining what's going on. Is one of our initiatives, and I know we talked about our goals, corporation, but we want to be a STEM certified corporation. Our teachers have worked extremely hard. They've bought in, the kids have bought in. This is just going to be something great for our corporation. There are very few corporations around that are STEM certified. That's going to make us more marketable. To get students and people that want to be at North Harrison. Yes, it's fun, but we really feel like, you know, if you're not moving forward, you're moving backward, you know, and we want to continue to progress and do things in this corporation to move us along. Appreciate the board's willingness to allow us to do that. They freed up some time on Fridays to let us do those things. It's just so important to continue to move, and I thank the board for that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Hatton. I think you're right on. My thanks again to everybody, Mr. Rentschler, band, Hope 9 Yards. I just wrap it up here with a couple of quick things. April 21st now will be an in-session day due to the missed day there on March 3rd. So April 21st, students will be in session. Hope everyone was safe during that time with the wind. I know we had a lot of damage and so forth with that. So April 21st is that day. Spring break, kids, I know these guys up here are trying to give you like a 2 or 3 week spring break, but it is actually Friday, March 24th is when our spring break starts, and that will be through March 31st. Tomorrow is the end of the 3rd grading period, so for you seniors, you're down to your last 9 weeks of high school. It's pretty amazing that we are 3/4 of the way through the school year. Time really does just fly. So tomorrow, and I'm sure all of you in attendance are on the honor roll. Our Indiana Learns tutoring grant, we've been talking about this from back in probably August, September. I am proud to announce tonight that we have had 22 students and families take advantage of this opportunity. We just recently have started this service at North Harrison Elementary and Morgan. If you remember correctly, this is where students can receive $1,000 worth of tutoring service absolutely free to them. So we had 22 students and families that have signed up for that, and they're getting those services through our licensed teachers in those buildings as well. So very proud that we're able to have that partnership and help sponsor those kids. That is all I have. Everyone have a beautiful evening.
Anything else? It is recommended that tonight's meeting be adjourned at 8:06 p.m. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion's made by Ms. Gunter. Do I have a second? Seconded by Mr. Stroud. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you all very much. Mr. Stroud right here has nothing to do.
Turn us offline here. Aye.